In Huntsville, you play as a rookie detective sent to the titular town to investigate a series of crimes. As you solve each case, you quickly uncover a crime syndicate going on in the town, and, spoiler alert, you break the whole thing up. Gameplay-wise, this game is pretty simple. Each round you have to find a certain number of objects, and once you do, you solve a quick jigsaw puzzle at the end to put together whodunit. So first, let's talk about the positives of this game. I really like this game's humor. It can get pretty out there and ridiculous, like when a guy is randomly and inexplicably wearing a beaver costume, but I'm pretty out there and ridiculous, so I appreciate that. The artwork for this game is also very nice. Like a lot of I Spy type games, the creativity that goes into creating these backgrounds is pretty apparent. However, that does go perfectly into the negatives. As nice as the backgrounds are, it's hard to enjoy them because of the time limit. I already don't like being timed, and some of the time limits in this game are pretty ridiculous, and not in a good way. I found myself hurriedly trying to find objects so I could complete the level in the 15 minutes that they gave me, so I barely paid any attention to the background that the objects were in. Another problem that connects to the time limit is the wait time on objects. Basically, how the game works is when you find an object, you click on it, and it kind of hovers for a bit, and then goes into your briefcase that's in the corner of the screen. Unfortunately, while it is hovering, you cannot click on any other object. So even if you find another object immediately afterward, you have to wait for that first object to disappear first. This becomes extremely frustrating when you consider the time limit, especially the very last level, when you only have 4 minutes to complete everything. While it's true that there are only 8 objects in one location to find, when you only have 4 minutes to find them and finish the last jigsaw puzzle, and you have to wait for the objects to disappear before you can click on the next one, it can lead to a lot of frustration. Finally, we have unclear clues, and I think the best way that I can explain this is to give the most egregious example. In one of the levels, one of the objects to find is 7, just the number 7. The problem with that is, in this scene, there are 2 number 7s in very plain sight. There's a 7 on a calendar, and there's a 7 on a dartboard. However, neither of these 7s are the 7 that the game is looking for. The 7 the game is looking for is a pair of dice, whose dots facing you equal 7. So the game expects you to completely ignore the 2 obvious 7s, and instead go for the dice that you can really only tell add up to 7 if you look right at them while squinting. With all of these problems, I found myself not really enjoying the game. By the time I finished, I was relieved, because it meant that I never had to play the game again, which really shouldn't be how games are played. Were I to give this game a score out of 10, I think I would have to give it a 2. So that is my feelings on the game Huntsville. Tune in next week for the next game of the series, Prime Suspects, and I will see all of you tomorrow.